Okay, I'm Rod,
And I'm Dale.
and we just got out of Deadpool 2.
Oh, I'm still laughing from the movie. I mean, that was amazing. It was funny. It was entertaining. I'll let you talk some, but I just thought it was bizarre.
I didn't know what to expect going in either, but I was very entertained. I guess that's the key word. It was very entertaining. But as you watch this channel, you're going to find out that Dale is kind of going to give you the perspective on, is this movie something that a normal moviegoer would like? He's going to like the flash, the flare. Was this a good action movie? He's not so wrapped up in the backstory as he is. Did he enjoy the sparkle and all the cool stuff, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, I go in for the action. I just want to see a great movie. I don't care if there were 16 movies in front of it leading up to the story. I don't really remember half that stuff anyway.
Right. That's what you're going to find out about this channel, is that Dale's just kind of like, oh, I liked the movie as it was by itself. Whereas I'm going to be more of the cultural reference guy. And I'm going to remember, they took that from this, or they did that. And that's kind of going to be what I'm going to feed you on these reviews. But with this movie, it was an overload. Deadpool 2 was just an overload of cultural references. There were so many that I would have to watch this movie 3 or 4 times to catch all of them. There was just so much.
There were times when I was leaning over to Rod and going, okay, who's this person again? Because there was just so much that was just, it was last week, we saw Avengers, and that one I thought was pretty tough to follow. This one, yes, I didn't follow the whole story, but it didn't matter because I was laughing too hard during the movie.
Yeah, it was great. It was a comedy, and it was an action film, and it had a good story, and just they kept throwing things in from different movies that it was hard to keep up with it all, but it was very enjoyable.
And I tell you what, I just thought all the way through the movie, bizarre. I mean, every time I thought they had hit the limit of just how bizarre this movie was, it got even more bizarre. It is a laugh riot. I mean, I'm one, I'm a little older, so I'm not really as much into the new age and and the cussing and the swearing and all that. But on this one, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's not one you want to take the kids to, so to speak.
No, don't take the kids to see it. Again, I hate to say that because it's a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
As a movie and a story and a superhero story too, but it's too much. It's too much for kids. Don't take your kids to see it.
And well, you'd be answering a lot of questions afterwards about, they'd be inventing new words for them, I think, right now. But
yeah, I just wouldn't do it. I mean, I almost want to, but because there's some funny parts, but there's just too much. There's a lot of gore too, which is typical for a Deadpool movie.
It is. I mean, if you like Deadpool 1, you're going to love Deadpool 2.
Yeah, this one, they outdid themselves.
And, like I say, I kept going through the movie to myself, and I'm just going, how do I describe this? And bizarre kept coming back to me, but again, I was laughing so hard that it just didn't matter. I mean, it was entertaining. It was fantastic. I give it a thumbs up all the way.
Yeah, definitely a thumbs up movie. This they set it up really well with the characterization, and then all of a sudden they just throw the comedy at you right in the middle of what you think is going to be a great fight scene. And all of a sudden, I haven't laughed that hard in most comedies I've seen in the last 10 years.
I can't remember the last time I laughed this hard. I mean, this was seriously, tears running down your cheek, laughing hard.
Just bust out laughing in front of everybody at the theater. It was hard. You couldn't contain yourself. It was great.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you. It is great entertaining. I mean, it is an adult film, but it is fantastic entertainment.
It is adult entertainment, yes. That's a great way to describe it. The after credit scene, don't get out of your chair, because that is even funnier. It's just some really good stuff.
And don't leave after the first after credit, because then the second one even gets better.
There was a real, how do you say it, a coup de grace? How do you say that when you, what do you say that shot when you, coup de grace? I don't know how to pronounce that.
I don't.
Coup de grace? Coup de grace? I don't know how to.
We'll have to look that up now.
Yeah, I'm trying to say it 10 times so you can edit it me saying it correctly. But the coup de grace at the end was It was perfect.
It was a classic Marvel. It was a classic Deadpool. And as much as I enjoy all the different Marvel movies, this one stands on its own. It's meant to, but it does. It stands on its own, and it was a laugh riot. If you just want to get away for a couple hours and forget the rest of the world, this is the movie for you.
And if you want to keep up with where the Fox Marvel universe is going, you've got to catch this too.
Yeah, that's
get
true.
The leg up on that.
And you've got to be fast on this one. There were a lot of
That's
quick
what I'm saying.
references.
There were so many
just
references that even I couldn't keep up with them all, and it was just it was a real treat.
And believe me, Rod's read every one of the comics. I think he's the history buff when it comes to the Marvel movies here. So I was surprised when there's things he had to keep up with.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, now we're going to switch over to a few spoilers. This is what we're going to do with most of our videos. We'll talk about the movie itself as a normal review the first half, and then we'll switch to a spoiler review in the second half. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to hear the spoiler discussion, then spoiler alert right here. But let's go ahead and talk about some things that happen in the film, and then I can list off a few of these references, and because I don't even want to mention them in the non-spoiler, because I don't want to blow it for people.
They're because you do.
Funny.
That's what makes this one. So right now, spoiler alert, and it's like so many movies is that they start off with, you think they can't do that, I mean, basically they killed him right off in the beginning, and yet of course in this movie I think they killed him off about a dozen times.
Well, that's the thing about Deadpool, he can always regenerate him, fortunately or unfortunately for him,
but it's so funny every time they do it, every time they bring him back. It is just,
Yeah, the legs growing thing was really funny. They did the Basic Instinct reference with the legs, and everybody could catch that because they called it out by name. But there was this one time when he jumps on top of Juggernaut, and he says, "Let's. The sun's getting real low, big guy." You didn't get that reference,
did you? I didn't get it.
Okay, well, in the Avengers, Black Widow calms down the Incredible Hulk by saying the sun's getting real low after their mission.
Yes.
Because, they get in a big fight and the Hulk's beating people up and it's over. They've won. They got to calm the Hulk down and get him back to Bruce Banner. And she's like, the sun's getting real low, big guy. And so he jumps on top of Juggernaut and says that, and I knew you wouldn't get that one.
I wish I would have gotten it at the time, because I don't think I could have laughed any harder. I mean, it just, even if you don't catch all the references, it was just a great, funny movie.
The musical references were great, and they covered a full spectrum.
Oh, yeah.
He starts out by attacking the music of Frozen with an old soundtrack from an old movie. What was that movie?
I don't remember.
I don't either. Even I have to go back and look at that. But he was like, Frozen ripped off this song. And I'm like, whoa, wait, they did. And then it goes into some really good 80s music. And then dubstep gets mentioned more than once. And it's...
Oh, yeah, which I love.
Well, they really put the music together well on this.
Well, what do you think about the Wham? I can't think of the name of the song now.
I'm Never Gonna Dance Again?
No, where he pulls her into the oh, we'll have to edit that, but
what did he pull her?
When he's trying to get through the glass, and
toward the end, that was perfect timing with "Take on Me." I was
Take
like,
on
wow,
Me.
I'm back in the '80s. This is great. Is he going to slam his way through that force field and be with her, or what?
Yeah.
And that was really great.
I was really getting a kick out of that as well.
I'm mad about that, though. I'm mad that they left her dead, but.
I know, but was even,
Or is she? Because then you watch that after credits scene and you're like, wow.
They're going back and changing everything.
But no, seriously, when they set up those characters for that team, the X-Force, and then they killed them off on that helicopter drop.
Oh,
that was the
just
funniest
hilarious.
thing I've ever seen in a movie in probably the last 20 years.
Well, the interviewing process I really quite enjoyed too.
And that just set up what made everything so funny. When they jumped out of the helicopter and all met their fate.
Yeah, and that was great. I mean, and it's exactly what you would expect now that you think back on the movie.
Yeah, and I loved Domino's character. Did you like her?
Yeah, I did. I thought she was great. Lucky.
Yeah. It was a great superpower after all.
But just for me, I mean, putting everything else aside, fantastic movie, the best movie I can remember seeing in a very long time.
So you just left happy. You were entertained.
I was happy. I was just still just thinking about it makes me still laugh about many portions of it.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of expectation going in, and I didn't know what was going to happen. But I just feel like I have to see this movie again just to catch the rest of the references that they did, and I wonder how funny it'll be the second time. But wow, it was great.
I think we'll be laughing at different stuff the second time. This one had so much in it, just nonstop, that I think that you will, the first 3 times you see this movie, you're still going to laugh. I mean, there's the slapstick portion of it, but I think that the references will kind of come in more into play.
Yeah, and the final scene in the after credits. I mean, they just mercilessly rip on DC in this movie.
Yeah, it was great.
Maybe deservingly so to some extent. I mean, I could do a whole video on what went wrong with Green Lantern, but we'll do that another time. So anyway, catch this movie. This is a great, great Marvel movie, and I would not miss it for the world.
2 thumbs up. I mean, amazing. So definitely catch this movie.
See it more than once.
Yes.